I think my first bit of a Jewish identity unfortunately came from living through the Holocaust. Born in 1929, 11 years later, 1940. It's made a huge impression upon me. And I knew way back that if I was ever successful, I was going to be a Jewish philanthropist. Not even a question about that. So what does a man do with his wealth? Especially an entrepreneur who has worked hard and has been creative to create wealth. What does he do? So I try to utilize my dollars as best I can to get return. I think Jewish camping, along with education and day schools, is a marvelous place to invest money.
It was a mom and pop show, our little foundation. There was nobody else. You know, I think Harold employs about 40 people now. It was just me and him. What Harold wanted was to find the other Harold Grinspoons, or Harriet Grinspoons, women and men, so to speak, who in their community would really make a difference to create a viable Jewish community.
He's demonstrated to all of his peers, all of the other major Jewish philanthropists, that Jewish camping was significant and meaningful and worth investing in.
The word that best applies to Harold is pioneer. 10 years ago, very few people were talking about camping. There were really, there were a handful who understood what camping is about and how important it is to the Jewish future. Today, everybody's talking about it. And that's because there were folks like Harold who not only believed in it and cared deeply about it, but worked hard to make this a first priority in the Jewish community.
We in the outside Jewish world never seriously took on or understood what Jewish camps were doing for our children. They've given them the Yiddishkeit. They're exposed to other Jewish children there. They come home so excited. My grandkids and my oldest son's kids insist upon going for the full season this year. They will no longer let their parents dictate that they're going to go for 1 month. That's not going to happen anymore. But the experience is awesome.
Harold's vision of philanthropy was to bring an entrepreneurial flair to accomplish a goal. So it wasn't about writing a check. It was about sending an individual to help teach the camp how to raise money.
Harold realized if we're going to emphasize camping, that means doing things. And he went out and he did them. And he did them in a constructive way that drew us in and made us work harder. And that's brilliant.
Harold Grinspoon single-handedly changed 3 significant parts of Jewish camping in the last decade alone. He recognized that if you have mediocre leadership, that camp directors can be very, very lonely and can never achieve what they have the potential of achieving. So he devoted a lot of energy to upgrading the lay leadership of Jewish camps and succeeded. Secondly, he looked at the Jewish camps and said, why would I want to send my children or grandchildren to these facilities that are lousy facilities that are 50 years old? And he started a wave of refurbishing in Jewish camps throughout North America that leaves us in much better shape today than we were when he started this process. But most importantly, he created a culture of giving within Jewish camping, which did not exist prior to his initiation of this project.
And what Harold has done from a sense of Jewish camping is he has brought passion from a sense of the awareness within his peer group of the most prominent philanthropists in the U.S. And he has brought and supported us in bringing camping to the forefront of discussion and importance across the North American philanthropic community.
We have 70 non-paying clients. We're very proud of each one of our non-paying clients.
Harold has driven a process that succeeded in raising well over $30 million. Perhaps even more important than the money was the vote of confidence that Harold, really a complete outsider to camping, gave to these 60 or so camps that we're now working with. It was really for the first time and these camps' existence, and some of these camps are 80 and 100 years old, that somebody came up to them from the outside, not a board member, not an alumnus, and said, the work that you do is important, perhaps the most important of any Jewish communal organizations, and I want you to do more of it, and I want you to do better, and I'm there with you.
So ultimately what his foundation has really done is perform the highest level of tzedakah, that they've taught us how to fish. We're now able to go out and generate the interest and the passion and the commitment to our camps that we would have never been able to do without his leadership and support, and in fact insistence on our professionalism.
One of my children goes back to his camp every year. He loves going back with all his friends, and they go back to this camp, and they love it. They all are financially involved in helping that camp, and they feel good about that. So why should we help Jewish people feel good about being Jewish and help Jewish camps?
Round and round and round you go, to all the world you show.
I think the success was him seeing himself in a role as a model, not only to other philanthropists, but with what he could do with our foundation.
Heroes like you will keep our faith alive.
Harold is an unsung hero. There are very few people, unfortunately, I think, who fully appreciate the extent of his achievement.
You gave God's gift a place of honor and remember God's command. Now those words are scattered blessings over you and all the land.
Harold's an entrepreneur, and his philanthropy is very much generated from that vision of not where we are today, but where will the world be tomorrow? Not where Jews are now, where can they be tomorrow?
Heroes like you.
We've been the beneficiary of Harold having helped raise the priority of Jewish camping on the entire North American Jewish communal agenda.
Heroes like you will keep our faith alive.